Hello there and welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ngeni Titan. I thought I'd show one more game with the Czechoslovakian line before I move on, and my overall impression of the Czechoslovakian line is that potentially I suppose it's an interesting line. The Skoda T40 that I played most of is actually quite a difficult tank to, I think, do well in. It's pretty much very weakly armoured, and gun, I suppose, isn't quite accurate enough to be a really effective sniper, and it doesn't have either the view range or the camouflage for effective sniping. It probably needs quite a good crew and quite a bit of skilled play, bit of practice, a lot of practice to get the most out of it. The other tanks in the line, well, the tier 1 is very poor. It's really going to break your heart, but you don't play too many matches at tier 1. The tier 2 is also not a good tank. The tier 3 is actually a decent tank. I found the tier 3 to be reasonably enjoyable. Now, I hadn't played too many matches in it, and tier 4, which is this one here, the STVZ39, is actually a very good tank. Even stock, it's quite a decent tank. I still haven't been playing it long enough to actually have a trained up crew in it. The crew still hasn't achieved tank mastery. I'm about, I don't know, 6 or 7% off. So it is actually a pretty decent tank, like even without, like I said, tank mastery. If you had tank mastery and a couple of skills in this tank, actually it'd be quite formidable. Now this is a mostly tier 4, tier 5 game. As you can see, we deployed out in a very unbalanced fashion. We essentially didn't send anybody out the western side of the map. A light tank is just YOLO there across the ground on the western side of the map, and he's died. And the bulk of our tanks are just parked up in the bushes and behind the rocks there, right in front of the cap circle. There's a decent enough force of medium tanks actually going up the valley on the eastern side. So I'm proceeding up along the higher ground of this valley, and I don't see too much opposition, and this Excelsior is here on his own. So I think I'll take the chance to put the shots into the side of the Excelsior. If he turns his turret, then he's going to expose himself to the two tanks in front of him. Actually, Excelsior are doing well, because I think there was more tanks earlier on. Now I've caught the M3 Lee on the open. I managed to put effective fire into the front of him, on the move even, which with a tier 4 tank is pretty good. And we've gotten rid of him, so now there's just a tank destroyer that was behind him, which is an Su-85B, which is a pretty formidable machine. So now I have the Su-85 gives me his side, and he's going to have to give me his side again, so I finish him off, and then I get YOLO'd by the M8A1. Now if he had stayed up there on the ridge line and just popped in and out behind the ridge, he could have made my life very difficult, because it's a very fast moving tank, and it's quite hard to get a decent shot into a fast moving tank. In tier 4 tanks from the M time isn't all that huge. So, but he said he just drives down, he YOLOs off, attacks somebody else, and then drives away from me in a straight line, which makes things very simple. However, situation for the team is looking increasingly precarious, because the heavy tanks that went down the western side of the map are starting to appear on the western side of the map, on the flank of that of our crowd, back on the rocks and the bushes. And the thing about that location is that once you're flanked, your goose is pretty much cooked. Your best bet's actually come around the other side of the rocks and take the risk of the 2-3 tanks that's above you, but there's still, what, 6 tanks above him? Now I've taken a bit of fire here from the Valentine, and I'm not sure I could take on a Valentine from the front with this tank. Certainly not with regular ammunition. Trying to snipe the commander's hatches, but I'm taking more damage from the Valentine than I'm doing, so I decided this is no place to be hanging around, and I'll try and widen the angle so as to get around, see if I can get a flanking shots onto the Valentine. However, there's a T-34 popping up as well. So I get a few rounds into the T-34, and trying to put one into the commander's hatch, because that's actually quite vulnerable. The top of the turret's relatively soft on the T-34s, and the commander's hatch is quite large. Now my internet isn't great either, which is one of the reasons I'm kind of slow on moving. I'm kind of waiting for the lag spike to pass. So we get to finish off that T-34 that's on very little health, but the team's collapsed. Now it's just me, there's a T-34, and there's probably other tanks closing in. Somebody getting shot across me there. And I'm tracked. I didn't use my repair kit. I don't know if it would have made much difference. I don't think I'd have been able to take on all the remaining tanks anyway. And they're closing in fast. So that's it. Game over. But it's like I said, it's a pretty decent tank. It's one of the better games that I've had. I was playing other tanks as well. I hadn't had such good games recently. I haven't been playing too well. Hopefully I'll be able to improve that for the weekend with the Russians. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you again soon.